barracks of the RIC here in Tipperary, in Thurles, sorry. And it's small enough concern. There was, in 1st of January 1919, there were 13 policemen here in Thurles. 13 based down there, under a district inspector, Inspector Michael Hunt. Michael Hunt was particularly sort of anxious to suppress Sinn Féin and all its activities here in this area. And Hunt became involved in a very significant event. 5-6 miles out the road near Bursley, Mars of Anfield, a young fellow who was wanted for the original shootings on a head called namesake by own Sean Hogan was arrested out there and was brought into the RIC barracks in Thurles. And Michael O'Connell and various other people here in Thurles were trying to find information. They knew he was going to be taken to Cork. That's where all the IRA prisoners were taken. It was their first destination. And they knew he was on his way there. So they were trying to get information from the barracks here. And they were planning a rescue. And Michael O'Connell here was involved in sending telegrams, coded telegrams to a station, a place called Knocklong, down the line to the IRA people, Hogan's colleagues who were waiting down there planning and rescuing him. And he used the code word Greyhound, was what he said. Greyhound still in the station, Greyhound on the train. That was his code for this. And, but the District Inspector Michael Hunt became aware of the telegrams and his investigations. He was investigating here, the police in Limerick were investigating the shootings because Knocklong was in Limerick. And so he was making a lot of progress here and gathering evidence, slowly circling around the people involved here in Thurles, including Michael O'Connell. At this time, Jimmy Leahy, who was the brigade OC, was in jail already. And so Michael O'Connell was acting head of the IRA here in Thurles. And Michael O'Connell, I think, made a momentous decision, one that Michael Collins in Dublin repeated after. He thought, if I take out this policeman, I'll take away some of this problem, some of the evidence that's been gathered up against him, because he was facing a capital murder charge, he was charged with shooting. And they did, and on the 23rd of June, after a race meeting, and we'll have covered this the last day, up that corner of the square up there, 3 IRA men shot dead District Inspector Michael Hunt. In the first deliberate assassination of a policeman. A few policemen had been killed in Knocklong, had been killed in Limerick, and had been killed down in Salahead Bay. 5 had been killed up to that point. But this was the first deliberate assassination. And this is the tactic that Michael Collins then took up in September 1919 in Dublin. So that for me is the significance of Michael O'Connell and the decisions he made. And this wasn't a great big war, a great big one. This was small, local, personal stuff here between people who knew one another. If we get to do the second part, we'll be passing where District Inspector Hunt lived. But as Norbert said, he left the river, he had 6 children as well too at the time. So this was a big decision that was made and with big impact and big implications. So that's who we're coming here today to remember Michael O'Connell. There's lots of other aspects to his career, I'm not going to go into them, but you can read about them in the book, because his great-grandson Neville here has done great research on events here in Thurles and has spoken. So we're now going to unveil a plaque, and so I'm going to first invite you, Neville, if you would like to say some words.
Thank you, Sean. Good afternoon, everyone. As I mentioned by Sean, I'm Neville O'Connell, a great-grandson of Michael O'Connell, for whom this plaque is in part tribute to. Thanks to all for attending the unveiling of this plaque, and special thanks to the people who are doing so much work behind the scenes. Dr. Thomas McGrath, whose idea it was to erect this plaque, and thanks also to Neil Hassett for helping the wording of the plaque, and thanks to Sean Hogan and John Connors and all the members of the Tipperary and the Decade of Revolution History Group who put together this event today. We are here to unveil a commemorative plaque to honour all the volunteers who sought refuge in this house, and to the Irish volunteers who had the house as their headquarters. In 1917, James Leahy from Butterland, the man who would become Brigade Commandant of the Mid-Tipperary Volunteers, came to work for O'Connell, just cementing the public house as a central place in subversion and as the Brigade headquarters of the Mid-Tipperary Volunteers. From then, all major activities of the brigade were planned in this house and directed by James Leahy and Michael O'Connell. It was after the successful rescue of Sean Hogan at Knocklong in May 1919, planning of which took place on the premises, that the House and O'Connell came under intense scrutiny by the local RIC. The police were led by District Inspector Michael Hunt, who has earned himself a notorious reputation amongst Republicans for doing his utmost to suppress the Sinn Féin cause. O'Connell knew he was being investigated for his Knockdown involvement and was aware that his actions carried the death penalty. Around the beginning of June 1919, he decided that killing Hunt would be an effective method of disrupting investigations into the Knockdown rescue and approved plans to assassinate the district inspector. Just over 2 weeks later, Hunt was shot and killed by 3 volunteers on Liberty Square, and that was the first deliberate assassination of a policeman in the war of independence.
Hold your umbrella.
As a direct consequence of the volunteer activities in the House, the Blackcounts frequently raided and looted the shop, destroyed the stock, and paid it so much attention that O'Connor's nearest friends were afraid to visit the premises. In retaliation for the assassination of Principal Mid-Tipperary in January 1990, the House was severely damaged by exploding grenades and riddled with bullets by local police. The stories relating to the House and activities here are countless, too many to get into here. But one should take this opportunity to remember all the neighbours, the colleagues, the volunteers in the locality. Some names out of many that come to mind are Lawrence Hickey and William McMahon, who were shot and killed by the RIC in March 1921, and John Lockney, who played a prominent role in many activities of the Mid-Tipperary RA. The events of a century ago have now passed out of living memory, and with the goals of the centenary commemorations in mind, we would like to ensure that this complex period in our history is remembered. We also want to remember and recognise all of those from all sides of this conflict who suffered in the midst and wake of war and rebellion. Today the O'Connell family are erecting a plaque on the building here at 24 Liberty Square to commemorate it as the headquarters of the Mid-Tipperary Brigade Irish Republican Army during the War of Independence, and to commemorate its proprietor and intelligence officer, Michael O'Connell. With that said, I'd like to ask my father, Michael O'Connell, the grandson of Mixey O'Connell, to go ahead with the unveiling.
Okay, we will later, yeah. Yeah.